Hello, everyone. So today is a podcast, and I'll be speaking with Marina. My name's Neel. And before we get into the topic, and the topic's going to be like, what is our relationship with technology? But before we get into this topic, I want everyone to set the intention to be open to receive this, to receive the information, to receive a transmission. And I want this to be listened from our heart space. So I want everyone just to take a moment first to just close your eyes and breathe in and out from your heart space. And just feel those qualities of openness and connection. And radiate this frequency outwards. Like imagine a golden bubble extending outwards. Okay, so today the topic is going to be our relationship with technology. And firstly, I'd like to start this podcast by asking Marina to talk about how she feels about technology and what is her relationship with it. So yeah.
Ooh, I didn't know I will be asked in this podcast. So, hello to everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Neel, for this introduction. One more time, I always really wanted to mention that Neel and myself, we beautifully connected through the same intention and same kind of really energy and frequency that we are generating in our hearts, and the same intention. So, and it's beautiful how almost like it's 25 years between us, and we are sharing such a beautiful connection. So thank you so much for this question. I think and feel personally, Neel, I struggle really for the long time with technology. Even today, like literally before we needed to start to record this, we had a problem with the sound and with the headphones, and then I remove headphones and then microphone. So it's really make me overwhelming in a short time. So I don't, and my energy definitely doesn't connect and match with the technology, even though the technology till some degree is good, right? Because we can also create a lot, can help us to connect, right? Without technology, probably we cannot do this today. But I think so that more your question is guiding us through the feeling of, again, being human and being alive. And the technology today, social media, mobile phones, actually driving us in a different direction. So I don't want to sound, and we don't want to sound negative around technology, right? Because everything have plus and minus, right? Only thing is, are we more in plus, or we are more in minus, or we are in the kind of the balance? So this is the only difference. For me personally, I can say that as much as technology can really help us and connect us, also on another level, really, I think technology, and I feel separating us also from connection, from our connection with ourselves, connection with life, with the natural life, connection with our friends, with the family. So from the world, if I sit anywhere, Neel, trust me, if I sit anywhere, guys, here in Dubai, any restaurant, any cafe, my husband and myself, we were just looking around before a few days. Everybody, if you are in the waiting room, if you are in the coffee shop, everybody is literally on the phones. And nobody talking, nobody Neel communicating really. And for me and both of us, we're always talking about that, how actually sad that is, that we are sitting and we are so deeply in our phones, completely disconnecting from the life, disconnected to see other human being, to see maybe somebody need our help, Is it maybe is a cat on the street and people walking on the street and they're just on the phones? So for me, it's only for us that we need to educate ourselves more and talk about our well-being and connection more, and rebalancing really priorities. So how much time we are spending on our phones, and how much we become, like we were talking before, this like robotic. We are really condition ourselves to, and biologically, honestly, to synthesize ourselves from the world, from the life, and to live into some imaginative world of the phones and someone's other's lives, instead of we actually being connected to ourselves and to essence of who we are. So yeah, Neil, I mean, it's really important for all of us to bring awareness and the consciousness, more growing that consciousness and talking about it. So I think this is really powerful subject. So I would like to ask you the same question. So what is your, as a young human being, you're 20 years old. So what for your generation and this time technology actually brought up or take out from your life? So yeah, you can share.
For me, like I wanted to like talk in this podcast like positively, and I know everything has like a positive and a negative, but for me, there are concerns that have to be addressed, and like we can't just like be in denial about like what could happen. Like I feel like we do need to bring awareness, and from my age too, like I see so many, or even when I was in school, and like so many people there's like like an iPhone. It's not just iPhone now, you have all these wearables, so we're getting, with technology, the consciousness of technology is becoming more and more intrusive, and humans as a result are becoming more and more inorganic. So I feel like everything is relationship. So we can have, relationship. Everything is relationship. I'm in this physical body. I have a relationship with this body, and everything is sent outwards from that. So we could say technology is, we're having a relationship with it. Okay, the question is how. The question obviously is like how intrusive can those relationships be? But that's like, could it one day you have a relationship with a robot, for example? But what I'm saying is so I wanted to really speak positively in it, like set a positive space, but I feel like our heart sometimes needs to go to these like more like negative, or these areas that could be quite concerning if we don't shift our thought pattern, shift our relationship, shift how we relate to it. So as being a 20-year-old, for me, like I just feel so many. So I feel even with social media, there's a positive and a negative with everything, but I feel like a lot of people are getting hooked in. Like if you think about, I even think about like these kids growing up. So for me, like I was maybe like I was introduced to like video games, for example, growing up, and they're fun. There's a positive, like they're quite cool, but then at the same time they become addictive, and you immerse yourself in an alternate reality that's not real. And for me, the concern about that is because these games are designed to be addictive. They're designed to feed, or like they're very good at like making the psychology really addictive, and dopamine addiction. So for me, it's like, how do we, like, we obviously, it's not just me. I feel like parents they really need to rein in, like, first of all, if parents are not conscious, then it's very difficult for the child, because they'll be, if a parent's busy, they'll just give them the phone, give them the game, whatever. And on the phone, you can do absolutely, I mean, you can do so many things, but there's so much.
Phil, can I just stop you here, because this is amazing moment me to just jump in very shortly. When you says when parents are awakened, right, and conscious, then obviously they will have consciousness about how digital world and how technology can also damage, at the same time can bring good stuff, but also can really damage if it's not balanced. We talk about that. And also what is really what I'm witnessing generally, this is the easiest way also for parents to get the tablet and to put front of the baby's eyes in the restaurant, in the coffee shop, tablet, and the child, we sit for hour there and watching the cartoons on the tablet, which obviously it's not good at all for the function of the brain, for development of the brain.
Because I also, sorry, I want to interrupt, but also I feel with the technology, and if you look at a young brain, like, babies growing up, they're in a very suggestible state. Their, brainwaves are slower, like theta brainwaves. So you've got a very
Theta.
slow brainwave.
From second years, they are in theta. Yeah.
Second years, they're in theta. Okay. So if you're looking at if the whatever you're putting in front of that child, whatever technology you're introducing, that is information that's going to go into their subconscious mind over time, slowly, that's forming their narrative, their beliefs, their perceptions about that world. They'll create that external reality as a match to what they've been given. So I feel like, I mean, this obviously now we're talking about conscious parenting, but I feel like we do have to be very conscious about what we're like what we're exposing ourselves to, whether it's children or babies, whether it's teenagers like scrolling on TikTok 24/7, just looking at random videos, like instant gratification, one video, next video, but it's not. Yeah.
Neel, sorry to interrupt you. Like, what you think as a young person? What changed? When I was little, right? My mom and dad didn't have tablets. They didn't have mobile phones to entertain us, right? Is it that today parents really want to have all enjoyment in certain degree to go out and to, instead of giving attention to the child, right? Yeah. They want the child to be quiet, and the only way child to be quiet, it's giving them tablet and give them cartoon or some songs to watch and to listen. So what you feel that parents trying to avoid just by satisfying child?
I feel like it's quite a lazy dynamic. It's not a very okay. Parents are using technology to avoid parenting, but technology because I feel like the technology is doing the parenting. The parent can say, okay, I want to go out, I want to go shopping. I don't know. The parent will do something for themselves at the expense of neglecting the parenting of the child. And what happens is we're living in I think I don't want to be negative, but anyway, so we're living in a lazy society.
Everyone's this is not negativity, Neel. This is not negativity. This is, for me personally, what I feel. That's actually positive thing that we are putting out there, right? And growing awareness and consciousness around. It's not about judgment. Really, 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 it's not about judgment, because really there is no judgment. We know that our evolution and everything changed, right? When I was 20 years old, before 25 years, was a different time, right? So now after 25 years, we have different evolution also. So, right, dynamic of the life, dynamic of work, everything, just dynamic of the families changed a lot also in the past 25 years, right? So there is really no judgment, and this conversation really should it is towards, on the end, positive conscious awareness from our hearts, really, for those ones who will listen to this. So yeah, please, I just wanted to tell you, because
I feel like we're living in a very lazy kind of society. So I feel like we're just in general, I don't want to talk about parenting now, but just in general, like we feel very dependent on technology for things that we, in the past, for example, we didn't really. So I feel like a lot of the things we're being sold are stuff we don't even want or need. But like people are becoming dependent on technology for like ordering food, or like smart technology, like speaking to, like, think about it. For example, you could have a smart assistant, and in some time that will replace real friendship or real human connection. Instead of making friends of humans, you'll be making friends of a robot. Like I feel like that the extent of. So we're talking about what's present, and we're talking about parenting now, but then we also have to look at what could be happening in the future if it's not rocket science. If you look at the trajectory of what's happening now, So we're seeing where technology in general is becoming more and more invasive. We're seeing how children are being, you could say, brainwashed at a very suggestible age to technology. And when they're going to grow up, so I'm this generation and I'm 20 years old. When a 4-year-old is going to grow up to be 20 years old, their dependency to technology will be higher than mine. And then therefore that 4-year-old, when they become an adult, and if they have children, if they don't marry a robot, if they have children, and if they have children, they'll be even more dependent on technology. So Marina was in a generation where, like, my parents too, they didn't have,
We have, but not this level, right?
this level. Yeah, so they didn't have this level of technology.
No.
And so I feel like for me, there was a bit of fear around what could happen in the future, but then I do feel inspired at the same time that we do kind of, as humans, I feel like it's more as a respect to humanity. I feel like it's a respect to the fact that we are human and we're not robots. We're humans. We're here in this third dimension, and we're experiencing life. But my question to you is technology going to ruin your life experience as a human, or is it going to increase or facilitate? And I feel everything comes down to the intention working with technology. But I feel like with technology, we can see it as an asset. We can see it as a projection of consciousness. Always starts from a thought. The thought becomes, be the physical manifestation. So we can see it as an asset. But what I'm seeing right now, I'm seeing if we're having a child that's 4 years old and, in a very suggestible brainwave state, and they're being brainwashed, or, it's like there's a lot of suggestibility to technology. For me, that is invasive consciousness. And for me, that's parasitic consciousness. What does that mean? That means that the technology is actually, they're losing the child when they grow up to 18 years old. I'm going to use a word, but they're going to be like a zombie because they'll be walking around the street, as Marina said, in the coffee shop. They'll be on their phone, like everyone in their shop everyone in the shop was on their phone, just, I don't know what they're doing. But they're not in this. They're not. I call that second dimension, because they're not they're just like looking at their phone, and they're not aware of who's around them. It's a very a very conversion focus. It's not very open. What technology is doing at the moment is making us very narrow-minded and narrow-hearted, and it's very restrictive on that flow of life force energy. And so for me, in terms of a trajectory, I feel like it's about regaining our sense of self, regaining our sense of being human, and from that perspective, then working with technology. I don't feel like it's about being parasitic to technology and we're losing all sense of self to technology and just putting like AI chips in our brain. I don't feel like that's where I want to be heading. So yeah,
absolutely. So beautifully Neel explained and put out there, really, really resonating with me also. And this is what I'm saying to myself always. And when I'm, speaking with my friends and with my husband here in the house, it's always that moment of, I want to be a human. I want to experience life. Over the weekend, trust me, I don't even go on the social media. Obviously, for the work that I do, I need to be present there. But over the weekend, I am out of the social media, and you won't believe what kind of difference your body can feel, your mind and your soul also, just being present in your life. So I feel if we just bring that awareness, because I don't think also, Neel, that is a too much problem in technology. Technology will always grow, right, and expand like everything else in life. But what is the trick here? It's us, how we are choosing to use something, in this case technology. So how we are choosing to use something, and I think more we are conscious and aware, and then this is again when we're coming of being self-conscious, being very aware and being human, so you can make your choices consciously and having awareness of your actions, right, and of your choices. But like you says, if parents or us, we are not aware and conscious, we will make choices to mask or to cover the things that we supposed. to be engaged with, right? We to do.
I feel like just for me, what happens is like I'm grateful that I can have a conscious choice with using technology, but I feel like just for me, even though I cannot really blame the child at the same time, I feel what's happening is by the time that child goes from 4 years old to 18 years old, that they're not gonna. I feel like they've already been just in
It's
that.
done.
It's
It's
already been
done.
done. You cannot. They're already in a state of unconsciousness, and you
Yes.
cannot break them out. Everything in their
Even
reality
before 40.
reaffirm that. Sorry.
Yes, even
Yeah.
before 40. Because
Yeah.
the first from the zero, from
Yeah.
0 till 7, 8 year,
Yeah.
this is the most important years in the child development. The most. So we or parents, we do everything almost to create the character of that little human, the belief system, what this little human will more like, and how we condition the body of that little human, because this is the subconscious, right? So how the body of that little human will guide the mind of that little human to choose and make choices in life. So the first 7, 8 years of life is the most important. And after that is like, okay, what we need to fix now?
We could say the problem, so like what Marina was saying, we could say, yeah, the problem is us. Like, we should make conscious decisions about how we should relate to technology. But then the problem for me, how it works is I would say it's more of an imposed it's an imposed choice, because the child has already been conditioned into thinking whether they actually like technology or not is for them to discover. But what's the problem for what I'm seeing is that the child has already been conditioned into being dependent from technology and into seeking a sense of gratification from technology. And if they do not know any different, and by 8 years old, they could already be wired. But like as that extends forward into their lifespan, like if they do not know any different, then why would they? If like 95% of their life is like an automatic program, but why would they then? Why would they listen to like a podcast like me talking about something that is not in their belief system? I'm speaking. I'm not trying to project my belief onto anyone, but what I'm saying is, why would they be receptive? And why would they even be in their heart space, number one? So they cannot receive this from their heart. And number two is, why would, even if their minds was trying to receive it, like, it's not even possible, because they wouldn't be a match to the information, and everything in their reality would be like a technological bubble. So I don't want to, well, I could give an example, but like, for example, my sister, she loves technology, but for me, it kind of like, it's really hard to convey a message to someone who's already very like dependent and very addicted to it. So it's very difficult to communicate between, because even though we could say, okay, it's they're the one causing the problem, but then at the same time, all they're doing is they're running on a program that they've already been wired from when they've been, when they're born. So it's kind of really difficult. Like, yeah.
Yes, it is. It is difficult. And that's why I'm always inviting. And when I'm speaking with the people around, even, with my clients, and always intention is like growing awareness, awakening yourself, working really on yourself, and having the values, the right values. I think so. We, as a humans, we lost what really is value in human life, right? And we are wired to be connected with each other. We are wired to see each other's. So imagine if we don't have capacity anymore to feel for each other's, to see each other's, to embrace each
But I
other's.
feel a lot of technology is like mental numbing. And for me,
Yes.
I'll give you an example, but for me, so when I was at school, so a lot of people, well, I don't really want to speak about the schooling system, but people come back from school, and then what happens is they kind of go back, they're probably on their phones a lot of the time, and then they just play video games. But for me, that video game is like, it gives them a kind of rush. It gives them like an adrenaline rush. It becomes addictive. They compete against each other.
Dopamine, yeah.
So this is like this is like my school kind of, but basically for me it becomes a coping mechanism. This is different, but it becomes a coping mechanism from a depression, because it's mental numbing. It's like, instead of being present, okay, where you place your attention, where you place your energy. So instead of being Yeah. So instead of escapism, as Marina's saying, so instead of placing your attention on, okay, how do I feel? How am I? How's my body feeling? What am I thinking? Where do I want to go? What are my values? These things as how my, there's so many things in our physical reality that we could be placing our attention on, being connected to this reality instead. Instead, let's just eat some, like snacks that aren't very healthy for us, sit down on the couch, get our gaming console out and start playing for like 3, 4, 5 hours. And before you know it, the day is gone.
And not moving body
Not
and
moving.
forgetting reality, right? And more we repeat the same every
Yeah.
single day, the same habit, we are changing our biology. We
Mm,
are creating the chemicals in the body that will guide us. So
mm.
we become addicted to to that biology, to that chemical.
We become addicted to that adrenaline rush, addicted to that dopamine hijack. But it's all those
And then it's
neurotransmitters.
hard to get out.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
hard to get out.
Mm. And then the question, yeah, that's for me is sad because technology creates dependency, but then it creates also addictive. And I think the way they design, because everything in this, a lot of this world is like very commercially based, and it's all like, but a lot of this, they've designed technology to be addictive and to, because they know, like, but because our energy is the most valuable thing, they've designed it in a way that we want, or we feel that we have these urges, these impulses, these biological, our biology is actually equal to the addiction of that technology, because we've kind of over time we've come acclimatized to it. And I feel like for me it's very difficult for most, if we don't have like a conscious, like if we don't have like an awakening or like anything that breaks us outside of that technological bubble, then everything, like there's no change that and then we lose our free, for me it's more about losing our free will to technology. And I'm not saying technology is bad, but I feel like for me that is what's happening, is people are losing, I mean that's why I wanted to speak about this in the first place, but we're losing our voice, losing our sense of touch, our sense of seeing. Instead we're going to have these Apple glasses on our eyes and whatever, and our chips in our brain, but we're losing our humanity to our technology.
So true, so true. And exactly now, when you were talking about it, it just came to me that how you can control easy masses.
Mm. How can you control
When
the,
you,
yeah.
when you disconnect them from themselves.
Mm.
So then it's easy to
Easy.
control the masses. So this is what I really want with to finish this short podcast, really to go on the positive, that it's beauty in technology, because we can actually use the positive space of technology to share this message today to everyone who will listen and who will really, really open-heartedly receive this message, and to pick up, what is resonating. So doesn't need to resonate everything for everybody, right? And that's completely fine. But the intention of this is really being human and growing our humanity, awakening our humanity, being here, present now, being connected to yourself, to your body, to your feelings, to who you really are, and to listen that and to make choices from there. So you don't let something to control you, because technology, it's easy and will control it if we don't start really.
For me, I feel like it's just like we have to set, even for me, I can feel it in my body. Like if if something gets addictive, I just have to tell myself, you give yourself a very good reason. Like, I do not want to be addicted to this. I do not want it to control me. I want to retain my energy. I want to retain my free will. I want to be able to choose what I want rather than technology influencing my behavioral patterns. You keep on, for me, it's like, okay, you have a boundary and you see, like, is it going to pass through that boundary and is it becoming invasive? If it is, then you just have to kind of push it back for a bit. But yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Neil, so much. And I hope so that everybody who will hear this will enjoy, will receive, and yeah, let's we move forward with awakening ourselves also every single day, right? And reminding ourselves that what is the real value of us being born and being humans, and choosing actually to live this three-dimensional, physical, material material world, and yeah, staying connected to ourselves and to life and to each other, which is the most important. So thank you so much to everybody. And Neel, do you like to say something for the end, and we can finish?
No, I just feel like I want to finish this podcast just staying in our heart space and just allowing whatever, like we're allowing whatever spirit or information that resonated with you just to kind of stir in you for a bit, and whatever it inspires, that's great, and whatever it doesn't, that's great too. But there's nothing else to be said, but just to be present is the main message. Thank you.
Bravo. Sharing this beautiful message with you in our hearts, and we are sending you so much love. Till next time. Ciao.